Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and this episode is brought to you by our Patreon. If you enjoy the show and want to support, the link is in the description. But this past weekend, Matt Canada might just have saved his job. Now, if you remember in previous weeks leading up to this one, Fire Matt Canada was a movement started in Pittsburgh. You heard it at Penguins games. You heard it in movie theaters, in cafeterias, and pretty much everywhere across the city. But did Matt Canada lead this team in a good enough performance to potentially save his job? Patrick.
Josh, when we look at the statistics, yes, he has. These Steelers are 11-4 over the last 15 games. And you know who the offensive coordinator was? Matt Canada. Canada's doing just enough. Right, Josh?
And that's the thing, Patrick. And if you're a Steelers fan, I don't think you realize that you're 11-4 over the last 15, probably because it feels like you maybe haven't played the best. And maybe there's a couple of those 11 games that probably shouldn't be in the 11 column, maybe should be over there in the 4 column. But nevertheless, Matt Canada is doing just enough to potentially save his job. And if somehow, some way, they can make the playoffs this year and force Tomlin's hand to not fire him, if they could just put the offense together enough. Like, Kenny Pickett is in a bind right now because if he plays too good, he's potentially getting Matt Canada for another year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do?
And if he doesn't, then people are going to start looking and saying, hey, maybe Kenny's not the guy. So now, as a Steelers fan, you are forced to put all your eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. You are forced to say, Matt Canada is my hero.
Yep.
And I don't think people are ready to do that.
I mean, they put up over 300 yards of offense.
Mm-hmm. And people are saying that's on the way to starting a potential all-time run. Because when you look at Matt Canada's history, and you look at the history and you say, this guy is a genius. Because you think of schools where he has coached before.
Yep.
Like NC State.
Bingo.
Like Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Like Northern Illinois. Like Butler. Indiana.
Boom.
These are
Powerhouse.
all schools that you instantly think about. These guys put up great offensive numbers.
No, 100%, Patrick, and he's doing just enough. And, you know, I didn't see any clips of him not celebrating through on touchdowns. Now, granted, Kenny Pickett didn't throw a touchdown. He did rush for one. We had 3 different rushing touchdowns, which you feel good. You're sharing the rock, sharing the ball around. But it feels like he was able to coach and coach out the calling out of Canada's plays. And I think that's potentially going to help them in the long run because he has the plays for a reason. And now that potentially Kenny Pickett is going to be following the plays, the ceiling's the roof, as a legend once told me. And so good for them, man. A team, Patrick, that's not having the same kind of optimistic feeling that the Steelers are this morning. It's the Washington Commanders. And Jahan Dotson was actually caught plagiarizing yesterday's game. This is when he, of course, went out and watched the celebration for the Giants. Now, remember, the Giants are celebrating because you have to just appreciate the wins you can get when you're a Giant. You know, those don't come often. You have to enjoy them. And so they're enjoying the win. Dotson plagiarizing Stephon Diggs is what a lot of people are saying when he was watching the celebration after he dropped the game-tying catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's really plagiarizing the original one, Josh.
Tell me.
The Cincinnati guy. You had this.
I thought you were gonna say I was setting you up, Patrick, to drop it on me. It was like it was the big it's kind of like conversation here.
Right. So
Justin Harris. Justin Harris from Cincinnati, guys. That's who you didn't know the name. Got it. Justin Harris from Cincinnati, who's still at Cincinnati, by the way. He's playing his heart out. Feels like the program's kind of declined a little bit since that he initially watched the celebration and lost to Georgia. Because I think he thought maybe he was going to get back when he was watching that celebration.
Right.
They have not got to that same kind of moment.
No.
But hey, good for him. He's kind of started a trend, and watching the celebration thing, we'll probably see for the next until the end of time is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you know what? Justice for Justin, right?
Yes, justice for Justin.
Justice for Justin here. You got to have justice for Justin because he's the guy that originates this movement, but he doesn't get any credit. Stephon Diggs gets the credit. And, you know, we all know that we can compare a championship level game that Justin and Stephon Diggs played into to a week 7 game against a backup quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. Those two games are interchangeable.
Absolutely. So now, Patrick, my question is on the evolution of the watching the game. I just thought about this. So initially, people went back into the locker rooms with their teams. Now we got players watching the celebration of the other team. It feels like it's only a matter of time before they're participating. Is that part of the is that the evolution of it? Because it feels like this, if we're taking step A to B, the only step from B to C is it's that.
Yeah, you get the participation. Yeah, I think so. But I think overall, when we look at this, Josh, who am I?
Well, I would say that at a time you were a prestigious captain of a vessel, of an aquatic vessel. Now I'd say Raft Boat Ron.
Raft Boat Ron. Riverboat Ron is a disgrace. And his nickname is a disgrace to all nicknames in the world. We had to take his nickname away because this guy, Ron Rivera, is a joke. This guy comes in, he says he's going to save the franchise, and you can't come in with a cool nickname like Riverboat Ron. You know when Riverboat Ron ended? It ended when Cam Newton didn't dive on the ball in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's what happened. That's what the facts tell me, Josh.
Yeah, no, Patrick, but I think you got to give Rivera some grace here because if you really think about it, the evolution he was brought in as a team coach of a team that no longer exists.
That's right, Josh. That's true.
So now that they're the Commanders, it kind of feels like it's a reset. Like Ron Rivera, you give him a couple more years because we're really not sure what he's going to be for this Commanders team.
Right, and that's a good point because of the name reset. It's practically a new job. So you really we haven't given him enough time yet.
No, we haven't given enough time. So hopefully we'll see. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't know if any amount of time is going to be enough to satisfy new owner Magic Johnson because Magic Johnson was calling out his own quarterback. And this is kind of reminding me a little bit of Los Angeles Lakers president Magic Johnson, not player Magic Johnson. Some other things remind us of player Magic Johnson. But the calling out your quarterback is an interesting move, especially when you've been the owner for less than 6 months. And I'd argue that if we break it down into percentages, he probably isn't as big of. I mean, that's like me if I walked into the Atlanta Braves stadium and just started calling out all the different players, you know? And I wouldn't do that because I know
you do pay part of their salary though.
I do pay part of the salary, and that's so maybe. So are you okay with Magic Johnson calling out somehow? Because let's be real, no touchdowns, 1 interception, didn't play great, almost a 50% passing completion.
Well, I mean, you put up a tweet, Josh. Where tell me where he's wrong. Where is he wrong? That 7 points isn't enough.
I guess in theory, 7 points is not enough. Now, actually, though, I was told that you only need 1 point to win because you only need to win by 1 point to win.
Well, that's true. And I get it now. The team probably forgot they were the preseason Super Bowl champions. They had the hype. That's when the season peaked for them. So they probably thought they had the 2000s Ravens defense and the 1985 Bears defense. So they thought 7 was enough. That had to be a miscommunication inside the locker room.
I'll tell you one place, though, that is having a great, great week, and that's the Chicago Bears, Patrick. Now, eerily similar to the Commanders situation as far as being a part of an organization that makes all the wrong moves, drafts all the wrong players, passes up on Patrick Mahomes, passes up on a lot of guys that probably would make their team good. Plays in a dump. I think you could also add that to the list. But I'll tell you what, there is a ray of sunshine, a little glimmer of hope in Chicago right now because they might have found their franchise guy. They found a guy named Tyson Bagent, who is officially the most winningest quarterback in Bears history. And that's what the likes of people like Jay Cutler, Patrick.
Yeah,
what did you see from Tyson? And do you think that the Bears are in place to go on an all-time run here?
It's a possibility, Josh. Let's not count the Bears out of this because
bear down.
Bear up. I'm saying because Bears are up. Okay, Tyson Bagent has played so well. He's earned a nickname, Tyson Bagent. I think that's what he needs to be called now.
Like the toilet that sprays up into to clean everything. That's an interesting nickname for a guy who he's playing well. He's playing real well, and it's kind of going to change the landscape of the NFL to me if you think about it. I mean, the last school that he played against, what I was told was the Colorado School of Miners, and now all of a sudden you're going to be forcing NFL execs to have to scout D2 schools. Going to change the game, Pat.
It is because and we know Wander Franco's there already. We know that's his Cancun, and we're not Wander Franco supporters, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he got banged up. But here's the thing: if you're having to go out to the school of miners who are out there beating on the coal, in the mine, working, and you're running in and you got NFL executives coming around, you're going, am I in the wrong place? I mean, this is gonna put NFL executives' families in a really difficult spot because we now have to not only invest in Division I schools, but now the number of Division II schools.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a great thing.
No, 100%. Little Billy's at home. Hey, Dad, what school you going to watch today? You going to go Georgia Ole Miss game?
No, we're going to Colorado. It's for the not Dion though. It's for the School of Mines.
Prime time?
No.
School of Mines?
They play at noon.
What?
They don't have lights.
Oh, dude, your dad, your job sucks. It's so lame, Dad. I'm gonna go hang out with Mom's boyfriend. He drives a Tesla, and you're right. It's gonna put strain on a lot of families potentially, Patrick. But the PR team for the School of Mines has to be ecstatic.
They have to be like because they beat them, right?
Like there's somebody in the marketing department who's like looking at like their searches and how much they're appearing in search, and they're like, dude, I mean, we are crushing it. And somebody's getting raised. They're like, what did we do? What did we do?
It's huge.
And turns out, I mean, he's making people's careers, but hopefully the Bears found their guy. We're rooting for him. I'll tell you what, Patrick, there's a guy who I didn't see this game because I'm not sure you could have paid me to watch the Broncos play this week, but if you had, you would have seen Jerry Jeudy get hit in the crotch. Took an all-time crotch shot, and it wasn't just like one of those ones where you get hit in the crotch and then somebody's like, oh, it looks like he got hit in the balls. No, he felt it because you saw him afterwards grabbing. He was visibly in pain.
He got punched in the pee.
And you have to wonder why wasn't he wearing a cup?
The cup practices, it's not fully 100%. We know that sometimes what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And we've seen Jerry Jeudy's officially immunized now. He's learned from the great one. That one of the Mr. Aaron Rodgers, he's officially immunized. And you think he comes back stronger because he's built up that tolerance now. Next time he gets punched in the pee, he's like, no big deal. And that's what takes this guy as a next tier in an elite wide receiver.
Well, you bring up a good point, Patrick, because if wearing the cup is like if we're doing strictly one-to-one analogies, wearing the cup wasn't optional. In this scenario, it is. But then he elects, no, don't wear the cup. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get punched in the balls, and it's going to make me stronger for that. Essentially, Ball's version of immunized. And there's a chance that now he has not only the physical response, knowing that this is what it's like and this is the pain and he's going to overcome it. But it's also a mental thing, I think, as well. Probably wasn't comfortable, though, if I had to guess. And this guy's had a really tough last 5 weeks. Patrick, what's worse? I'm going to lay
it out.
Getting punched in the balls, getting absolutely destroyed on primetime television from Steve Smith Sr., right? Or potentially losing to the Jets or losing to the Dolphins by 50 or losing to the Commanders, actually, now that we're thinking about it. Or losing to the Raiders.
Well, stop it, Josh. Stop it. Stop the slander, okay? Stop it. Because we look at Jerry Jeudy.
I'm not slandering. I'm just asking which is worse, Patrick. There's a lot of things that are going bad in Jerry Jeudy's life.
Jerry Jeudy just put up a historically good day for the season he's having. Okay. And we...
64 yards.
What we learned this week is it's not on him. It's a matter of how good his quarterback and as good if his offensive line played. And so you know what that's telling me? The offensive line balled out yesterday. And so that's what happens when you give Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver, a competent offensive line.
No, I agree. Because, he did say a lot of things have to work for him to be successful. And it's not really his fault if he can't be successful because a lot of things have to happen. And so you're right. Apparently, the offensive line was playing good. Quarterback was good. Coaching was good. It all came together for him. And so we're hoping that Jerry Jeudy continues to excel post-crotch shot in the NFL. Speaking of crotch shot, Patriots fans, I'm not sure how they're responding to this one. Now, Patrick, I was always told that there was one person who was responsible for the Patriots dynasty primarily, and that was Bill Belichick. This year, they stink. And everyone kind of was thinking, hey, is Bill on the outs? Is this his last year? There was Patriots fans actually rooting for them to lose so they can get like a top 5 pick and just start the rebuild. It turns out, not only does Bill Belichick get an extension that's going to mean he's going to be coaching for a lot longer in New England, they actually beat the Bills and further put themselves in the conversation for being just a middle of the pack pick where you essentially get a nobody.
Yeah, and it's okay because you've got Bill's swagger back now. Because Bill, we're entering that time of year. He said himself, quote, it's a great holiday. And he was referring to Halloween. It's Halloween season. And we know that Bill Belichick,
he's in his bag,
shows up and he balls out when it gets to this time of year. I mean, he's showing up as the pirate at the party. He's coming on to the roller derby. I mean, this guy means business. And that's what he's doing this time of year.
Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting to see how the Patriots respond to potentially being 500 team at best. Not going to get a great pick, but you also kind of that are just suffering along the way. You can't ever feel too good, but you're never going to feel too bad, I suppose. But yeah, it's a tough time to be a Patriots fan. But if you went back and asked them if it was worth it for the 6 Super Bowls, I'm sure they would tell you yes. Personally, I kind of like having a team that's always in contention.
It is because you always have a chance. You always have a chance. Every season, this is a year. And it's nice to be a part of that.
Yeah, I wonder what the Bills are thinking right now. They got to be crapping their pants, worried about what's going to happen. They have lost some bad games this year.
They have, but you know what? They'll figure it out.
I'm sure they will. Hey, I'm sure they will. They just need to get Josh Allen. I think he's too scared to throw interceptions now, so he's not throwing the ball. He just has to realize, hey, I'm going to be just like my role model and my mentor, Jameis Winston, and I'm going to start chucking the ball, and I'm going to probably get a lot more touchdowns for my team. Last thing on the docket, Patrick, the Lions absolutely stink. They maybe they don't stink. They're probably pretty good. I guess the Ravens are just even better. Ravens blow out the Lions in a game where I was told that they were one of the best teams ever in the history of sports, is what I was told.
Well, here's the good news, and this is what I like. Spin zone.
Maybe I'll sell myself
you were
that.
telling
I don't
yourself
know.
Spin zone.
Spin zone.
You got a coach in Dan Campbell that's going to go in there and he's going to literally bury the tape. He's going to bring his F-150 to Ford Field. He's going to dig that hole and he's going to keep digging a little bit more because this one has to go down extra deep.
That's right.
And he's going to put that tape in there. And you know what's going to happen? He's never going to see it again. And they're never going to watch it again.
Yep. It's like the body's buried underneath, I believe it's MetLife.
Sure, yeah.
Is that where the bodies are?
I don't think.
Which one's the bodies? Which stadium's the bodies buried underneath?
The body burial. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not familiar with that work.
Okay. We'll figure this out. Hold up. Bodies under stadium is.
This is great. This is great for the show here.
I know. Well, Patrick, you could talk along while I'm trying to figure this out.
This is back half content. You tell me this is back half content.
The deep state, I think is hiding this one because I know there's bodies under one of those stadiums and I forget which one it is, and so we're gonna see. We'll see. Yeah. If somebody knows in the comment below which stadium the body's under. I think it's MetLife. I'm
you know what? Confident. And we're sure there's tons of people watching. So if there's no comments on this, we know that it's getting banned. So that's good.
Hey, I think Mario's here. I think Mario might be here.
Thank you, Mario.
What's up, Mario? And Dave Klein Sr., I think he's sometimes
Which is
here.
good. And you know what? And I appreciate it because I'll probably get the shout out on Facebook at some point. And that's always nice when I see that.
Bingo. Cool. Anything else? We're here to Josh and Pat updates. Anything on your end, Patrick? Anything exciting happening?
I want to take this time to acknowledge someone that did the training and did it well, and then showed up to the event and also did it well. It's Picks and Pancakes contributor Jack Casey on running his half marathon yesterday in the half, and he gets the job done. It's great for him.
It's good for Jack. Hey, I'm right there with you, pal. We're gonna get it done Saturday. I do believe. I was feeling, I'm not going to lie, I thought there was a chance it wasn't going to happen. But then I started training for it, and I realized that when I run, my torn hip is miserably painful. Every step hurts. And then today, I went out and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run 8 miles, and I'm going to prove to myself that I could potentially somehow do it. And I did 8 miles. I'm feeling good. If I had to guess, Jack might be a little bit faster if he trained at all.
Chumps.
But and we're proud of Jack. But I'm right. I'm gonna try, Patrick. I'm gonna try because I gotta be in good shape now that I'm a firefighter. It's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Because you have to have you think about the aerobic capacity, Patrick. You're breathing in all the smoke and stuff.
Yep, you're right.
Patrick, they don't give these shirts out to anyone.
They quite literally do. It's a volunteer.
If you wanted to get this, Patrick,
it's quite literally anyone.
Patrick, if you wanted to get this shirt, you would have to pay. I believe it was $25 at the 100th anniversary event. Okay, they don't just give these out.
Yeah. They wouldn't do that.
No. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching the podcast. Tough technical difficulties getting this one out, but I'm glad we did. Also, if you guys are still watching, make sure you go to Picks and Pancakes Instagram and DM us. We'll get you a free mug. Also, go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything that's happening in sports. We love you. We'll see you guys in a couple hours for our Monday night live stream. And then we'll see you again Friday for another episode of Josh and Pat.
Peace.
Peace.